So the flying device here is a Widgeon blue and silver. It's just along the lines of a teal blue and silver, but if I'm tying a 10 or a 12, I like to use the teal, and once I get above that to 8s, using the Widgeon, it's a slightly longer feather. And if I'm going sort of like a longer shank again, and I tend to use silver mallard like you'd see on a medicine fly. I'll take this out of the vise and I'll put a size 8 fulling mill heavy weight. This is a silver hook, and I'll catch that in, get it nice and tight, so I want it to move. I'm doing this anyway. I've got some 6/0 Semperfli classic waxed black thread, so I'm going to come in behind the eye deliberately. I'm not going to start down the hook for this. I'm going to start behind the eye because I want to make sure I have a good foundation when it comes to doing those wings. That's one of the things I find is important when you're doing these. So look, I grew up as a kid fishing on sea trout rivers in my area, a lot of nighttime fishing, so I would have tied back in the day an awful lot of teal wings and widgeon wings and silver mallard winged flies. For the tail, you can use golden pheasant tippets. These are dyed orange. I'll just get enough for this last fly. Just line these up, and you want to. I like them a little bit shorter than the length of the shank, and that's just because sea trout are a bit known for coming short anyway. So tying a bunch is too many in that. Sorry. Let's get some of them. You don't want it too heavy, so get those. Keep them fairly slim, and as I say, you're looking at a little bit shorter than the length of the shank. I like, because of the sea trout, they do tend to come short if your tail is really long. So just tie in a bunch of them. And come forward with your thread. Okay, so on the way back down, catch in some wire. So this is Semperfli 0.2 mil silver wire. Should be fine. I'm going to come back up the shank. You've seen me do this before. Rebuild as durable as body as I can. And I'm going to catch in some medium holographic silver Lorex. Now, this would be something I don't normally do, so I'm going to pull that down on my side. I'm going to get my hackle pliers and I'm just going to catch it, just not too heavy, and just leave it hanging down by the bobbin. That wire into my spring here as well, out of the way. Tighten that a bit. So what I'm going to do, you can use super glue if you like, but as I like this silver holographic, I'm just nervous of putting anything over it that might affect the flash of it. So I'm just putting some clear lacquer or clear varnish on there. I'm going to take my pencil off the hackle pliers and I'm just going to bring it down in close to touch and turn, so I don't have to be completely touching. If there's a tiny space in them, it's fine because we're coming back up. Okay, so down you go, like so, and you get down to the end. I'm going to catch that with the hackle pliers again and just let it hang down. And I'm going to give this another shot of lacquer. And I'm going to take that out of my hackle pliers again, and I'm going to come back up in again close to touch and turns and try and plug as many little gaps as I can. Now, as I say, you don't have to do it with the lacquer. You could coat it with UV resin at the end, or you could be using super glue. some brush on super glue should work as well, but this is just the way I tie mine. I lacquer them. So a couple of turns behind, a couple of turns in front, trim that off, and as you guessed it, just get just one last thin coat of clear lacquer or clear varnish there. Right, let's give that a second just to dry in a tiny bit. I say we're going to be coming up with the wire, adding a hackle, and then our duck wing. So again, don't want to space these wire turns out too much, because again, there's a lot of the idea of this wire on these sea trout flies is to support the fly. So catch that. I like, as you know, to catch these underneath, a couple of turns behind and in front, and I'm going to twist this just to keep this head area here fairly neat. Okay, I know now you're going to have a glare at times on this because of I'm tying under a light for a change. I normally tie in daylight, so let's put some other contrast behind it. You probably see it a bit easier. So this is basically a teal blue hackle. I'm going to pick out one that's fairly long in the fibres down at the base near the stem, like so. Or in this case, two of them. And I'm just going to pull away the fluff. And then I'm going to trim that down to about just around a mil or so. I'm going to catch it in. Just come back on top of it there. That's it. Add a little bit of wax to my thread. One more turn, that should do it. And I'm just going to tie this. I could use the hackle pliers, but I think it'll be fine without it. So you can fold it over as you go. Just one turn, just slightly in front of the other. So I'll give it 3, like so. And then we thread in underneath 2 turns. Then we're going to hackle everything is going to be pulled back, and a couple of turns in front, like so. Trim off this, and again just sweep everything back. Just moisten your fingers is the easiest way. Right up against that hackle there. Now this is the wing bit, so I'm going to take a widgeon feather here. Say it works the same for teal. Now because this one is fairly short, I can pretty much remove all of these end bits. Okay, and I'm left with this. Okay, now I'm going to come in from the tip end of the feather while I'm resting it here on my fingers, and I'm basically just going to fold the wing over the stem, and then as I get back closer to the stem, I'm going to pinch down. Okay, let's show you that again. So I'm coming in from this end, and I'm pressing down the outsides, and then I'm pinching down. Okay. But I'm leaving the feather on the stem, so just pinching down all the time, and you end up with this. Just wet it to get an idea of the shape. See? Now the trick with tying them in like this on the stem is you can't let go. So measure it up. I'm looking for it almost to the tip of the tail, and then when I'm coming in from this side, I have to pinch down again. Okay? I can't let go. Then a pinch and loop. And a pinch and loop, and let's see what we got. Yeah, not bad. And then just come down, tighten down on that. Okay. So what's happened is it's just basically folded over. Yeah. Gives you that nice shape to it. So come in there, we trim that off. Too much pressure on it. Just keep it nice and straight on top. Stroke everything back, and just build up the head. And you can have it. You don't have to worry about having tiny heads on these sea trout patterns. Some people actually like quite large heads on them. I like it just what you might call a normal head. You see that wing there? It's not too thin, it's not kind of collapsing, for want of a better description. That's what you're looking for. Let's just make my thread a bit longer here. Just come in and catch it. 1, 2, 3, and finish it off. So look, as I say, you can try that style of winging. Once that's wet, you know, and it will sit down over the fly like that when you're in the water. Okay. That's some lacquer. Put a few drops on the head there. Get your scissors. Trim it off. And just turn this upside down. Get another little bit of lacquer. And just finish the fly all around with your lacquer. Try and coat it all around the head for these. It'll also look a bit nicer when they're done. So I'll give that maybe another 2 coats of lacquer, and that head, get a nice shiny black head on it. But so yeah, look, that's how you do. That's the way of doing. So here's another feather prepared, and it'll be the same thing. Just come in from this end, right, kind of press on the outsides, fold it down over the stem, and then just pinch down. And there's your wing. That will sit down nice on the hook. So that might help some people. Try it if you're struggling with rolling the feathers and all that. You'll have seen me rolling the feathers like bronze mallard and that on other flies like the Irishman's claret and so on. But for teal, widgeon, some of the smaller hooks that folded over the stem, the tip of the feather might be the way to go for some people. So something for you to try.